All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going deep on something that might seem a little, well, peculiar. Protein in your urine.
Yeah, not exactly dinner table conversation, huh?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But even though it might seem weird, this stuff is actually super
And
important.
absolutely.
It can really give you insights into your health and help you be a more informed patient.
For sure.
So we're going to break it down, make it easy to understand, even if you don't have a medical degree.
Sounds good.
We're working with an excerpt from pasted text today. So first off, what does protein in urine even mean?
Well, it's called proteinuria.
Proteinuria.
And basically, our kidneys are like these amazing filters, right?
Yeah.
Cleaning our blood all the time, getting rid of waste products through urine. But they're supposed to keep the good stuff, like protein, inside.
Right.
So think of it like a sieve, separating pasta from water.
Okay, yeah.
The pasta is the protein your body needs.
Gotcha.
The water is the waste that gets flushed out.
Makes sense. So if there's protein in the urine, is that like a sign that our kidney sieve is, like, broken?
Exactly. It suggests something might be a bit off with that filtering process.
Interesting.
Doesn't always mean a serious problem, though.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's just temporary, like after a really tough workout.
Oh, like when I ran that half marathon?
Yeah.
And I noticed my pee was kind of foamy.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
That's called transient proteinuria, usually harmless. Clears up on its own.
Okay, so that's fine.
Then there's orthostatic proteinuria, which is more common in young people.
Okay.
It's related to posture.
Interesting.
Shows up when you're standing, goes away when you lie down.
So our kidneys are playing tricks on us based on, like, whether we're vertical or horizontal.
Kind of, yeah. But there's another type that's a little more concerning.
Okay, what's that?
Persistent proteinuria.
Persistent, okay.
And that one usually points to an underlying health issue.
Oh.
Like early kidney disease, maybe diabetes, or even high blood pressure.
So it's like a clue, not a diagnosis in and of itself.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild that pee can tell us so much.
Oh, for sure. It's incredibly valuable for diagnosing and keeping tabs on various conditions.
Right.
And catching those early signs can really make a difference. Studies actually show a strong link between persistent proteinuria
Oh, wow.
and increased risk of heart problems.
Really? So this simple test can tell us about heart health, too.
Exactly. It's not just about the kidneys.
This is getting interesting.
Yeah, right. That's why doctors use it not just for kidney stuff, but also to monitor chronic things like diabetes and high blood pressure. Helps them track how well treatments are working, make adjustments if they need to.
So how do they actually measure it? Is there like a special pee stick?
Well, there are a few different methods.
Okay.
Each has its own pros and cons.
Okay.
The dipstick test, that's a quick and easy one, kind of like a pregnancy test, but for your kidneys.
So it's a quick check, but maybe not the whole picture.
Right. For a more accurate reading, they might do a 24-hour urine collection.
It's 24 hours. So, like, you got to carry a jug around all day.
Pretty much. It gives a complete picture of protein excretion over a whole day.
Okay, so that's thorough. But I imagine it's kind of a pain, right?
Definitely can be inconvenient. But luckily, there's another option. The urine protein to creatinine ratio.
The what to what ratio?
UPCR, for sure.
UPCR, okay. What's that?
It's a simple test, just one sample.
Okay.
Compares protein to creatinine, another waste product in urine. This ratio gives doctors a good snapshot of protein levels.
So no need to collect pee for a whole day?
No.
Okay, that sounds better. So the right test depends on the situation.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how much science goes into something we usually just flush away.
Yeah, like we're cracking codes hidden in our pee.
Speaking of codes, what do the numbers from these tests actually mean? Like, when should we worry?
All right, let's break it down. For the dipstick test, a negative or trace reading is usually fine.
Okay, so a little protein is no big deal.
Right. But if it shows 1+ or higher, that could signal mild proteinuria.
Okay, so that's something to look into.
Exactly. Now, for the 24-hour collection, less than 150 milligrams of protein in a day is normal.
150 milligrams, okay.
But if it's more than that, especially over 3.5 grams, that's a red flag.
3.5 grams, wow, that's a big difference. What about the UPCR? What's the concerning number there?
For the UPCR, a ratio below 0.2 is typically normal.
Okay.
Anything above that suggests microalbuminuria.
Micro what now?
Microalbuminuria. It can be an early sign of kidney damage, particularly for people with diabetes or high blood pressure. And if that ratio goes above 3, it's macroalbuminuria, indicating more significant kidney issues.
Macroalbuminuria. Okay. So we've got all these different tests and numbers, but are they always the same? What about other things that could affect them?
You're right. Context is super important.
Correct.
Things like your age, other health problems, even certain medications can influence those levels.
So it's not just about seeing a number and freaking out.
Exactly. It's more like a puzzle.
Right.
Doctors are like detectives putting all the pieces together, so it's important to tell them everything. Like, did you just crush it at the gym?
Wait, seriously? My workout could make my kidneys look bad on a test.
Well, it's usually temporary, but yeah, it's important to be upfront about everything. Medications, exercise, diet, recent illnesses, all of it.
No kidney shaming here.
Exactly. Now, back to those clues.
Okay.
What can proteinuria really tell us about what's happening inside?
Right. We know it can be a sign of kidney issues, but how do those issues actually happen?
Well, remember those tiny filters in your kidneys we talked about? The glomeruli?
Yeah.
They're key for filtering blood. When they get inflamed, it's called glomerulonephritis.
Glomerulonephritis, okay.
That can lead to protein leaking into the urine.
So it's like those filters are clogged up and can't do their job.
Exactly. And then there's nephrotic syndrome.
Nephrotic syndrome? And what's that?
A bit more complex, but basically your kidneys are leaking a lot of protein. Like the sieve has become way too porous.
Wow, so it's not just the amount of protein, but why it's leaking in the first place.
Right.
This is all super interesting, but it's also a little scary. Like, what happens if someone has one of these conditions? Is it like dialysis and crazy diets forever?
No, not at all.
Oh, good.
Well, these conditions can be serious. They're often manageable.
Yeah.
The right treatment and lifestyle changes can make a huge difference, especially if you catch it early.
That's a relief to hear. So, let's say someone is diagnosed with proteinuria. What happens next? What's the treatment like?
Well, the first step is figuring out the underlying cause. Might involve more blood tests, imaging, maybe a biopsy.
So it's all about finding the root of the problem.
Exactly. Then they can tailor the treatment. Like if high blood pressure is hurting the kidneys, they might use ACE inhibitors or ARBs.
Okay.
Those meds help lower blood pressure and reduce the proteinuria.
So controlling the blood pressure protects the kidneys.
Exactly.
But what about lifestyle stuff? Does that matter too?
Oh, absolutely. It's often crucial. A low-sodium diet, for example, can really help.
So cutting back on salt is good for your kidneys.
Big time. It reduces the workload on them. And don't forget exercise and weight management.
Right.
Those can improve blood pressure and overall kidney function.
So it's a whole body approach. Treat the cause, use meds if needed, and make healthy choices.
Yeah, finding that balance is key.
But isn't a super strict diet tough to keep up long term?
For sure, that's something doctors always consider.
Okay.
The goal is a sustainable plan, improves health without being too restrictive.
Makes sense. And I imagine you need to monitor things regularly too, right?
Absolutely. They'll keep an eye on your protein levels and adjust the plan as needed.
So it's a journey.
You got it.
And being proactive is key. So what's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, today we've been taking a deep dive into proteinuria using what you've got from pasted text. We've learned what it is, how it's measured, and what those results can tell us. But the main takeaway, knowledge is power.
Love that. Understanding these lab values, it's like having a secret decoder ring for your body.
Exactly. And that's why we're here, giving you the knowledge to take charge of your health.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, from types of proteinuria to different tests. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
I'm all ears.
Have you ever had your urine checked for protein?
You're right. It doesn't exactly come up at parties, but we should all be aware of it.
Right. It can be an early warning for some serious things.
Exactly. And even if you feel great, regular checkups and understanding these basic lab values, it's super empowering. It's about being proactive, not waiting till something's wrong.
It's like taking your car in for maintenance, right?
Exactly. You might not notice any problems, but those checkups can prevent small issues turning into big ones.
Perfect analogy. You wouldn't ignore a weird noise in your car, so don't ignore your body either.
And sometimes those messages are hidden in something as simple as a urine test.
It's wild how much information is in something we usually flush away.
Really is. It reminds us our bodies are always communicating. We just need to listen.
So to sum up, protein in urine, it's an important clue, not a diagnosis.
Right.
A sign to investigate, not to panic.
Exactly. And even if you do have a kidney condition, there are things you can do.
Yeah.
Early detection and being proactive, those are key.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us. We hope you learned something new and feel a bit more confident about all this health info.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care of those kidneys.
All right, so to wrap things up, what's the one thing you really want our listener to walk away with?
If I had to pick one, it'd be this. Don't underestimate knowing your own body.
So true. We often ignore what's going on inside until something feels off.
Exactly. But just like we schedule checkups for our cars, we should do the same for ourselves. Even if you're feeling great, those routine tests can catch things early.
It's like that saying, an ounce of prevention.
It is worth a pound of cure. And understanding these basic lab values like protein in urine, it gives you the power to be proactive.
Right. It's not about being a medical expert, just an informed patient.
Exactly. Be able to talk to your doctor and make good choices for your health.
It's about being your own health advocate. And remember, we've just scratched the surface here. There's a whole world of knowledge out there.
Absolutely. The more you know, the better equipped you are to make good decisions for a healthier, happier life.
So true. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into proteinuria. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to take charge of your health.
Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. So where were we?
Ah, yes. Figuring out what to do once you've been diagnosed with proteinuria.
Right, because it's not a death sentence, is it?
No, not at all. It can be managed, and a big part of that is, well, figuring out what's causing it in the first place.
Okay, so more detective work for the doctors. Exactly. They might order more blood tests, maybe some imaging scans, even a kidney biopsy in some cases.
Wow, a biopsy. That sounds intense.
It can be, but it helps get a really clear picture of what's happening in the kidneys.
Makes sense. Got to get to the root of the problem. So once they know the cause, what then?
Then they can create a treatment plan that's tailored to you. For example, if it's high blood pressure that's causing damage to the kidneys, they might prescribe medications like ACE inhibitors.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of those.
Those help to relax your blood vessels, which lowers your blood pressure and takes some of the strain off your kidneys.
So it's like a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
Control the blood pressure, protect the kidneys.
Exactly. Or they might use ARBs. Those block certain hormones that can raise your blood pressure.
Interesting. So the medications are all about managing the underlying cause.
You got it. But it's not just about pills. Lifestyle changes play a huge role, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, for starters, a low-sodium diet can be super helpful. Cutting back on salt can really reduce the workload on your kidneys.
So it's not just about taste, it's about actually supporting your kidney function.
Exactly. And don't forget the basics. Regular exercise, maintaining a healthy weight.
Right, the cornerstones of good health.
Those things can do wonders for your blood pressure and your overall kidney health.
Okay, so it's like a multi-pronged approach,
Yeah.
tackling the root cause, medications if needed, and healthy lifestyle choices.
Exactly. It's about working with your body, not against it.
I like that. But I imagine some people might be a bit overwhelmed with the idea of like a super strict diet.
Oh, yeah, that's a valid concern, and it's something doctors are very mindful of.
Okay, good.
It's not about deprivation. It's about finding a balance, something you can stick to long term.
That makes a lot more sense. And I'm guessing regular monitoring is key too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Your doctor will want to keep a close eye on your protein levels, see how you're responding to treatment, and make adjustments as needed.
It's a partnership then, really.
Exactly. Working together with your healthcare team can make all the difference.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Got to stay proactive.
For sure. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
The more you understand about what's going on, the better equipped you are to manage it.
Right. So what happens next? Where do we go from here?
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into proteinuria.
And what a journey it's been. We've covered a lot of ground, from those tiny filters in our kidneys to those big, scary-sounding words like,
glomerulonephritis.
Yeah, that one. But I think the most important thing we've learned is that knowledge really is power.
Absolutely. The more you understand about your body, the better equipped you are to take care of it.
Right. So as we wrap things up, is there one key message you want our listeners to walk away with?
If I had to choose just one, it would be to pay attention to those early warning signs.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that. Those little clues our bodies give us that something might be a bit off.
Exactly. Protein in your urine, it's not a diagnosis in itself.
Right, it's like a smoke signal.
Exactly. A sign to investigate further, not to panic.
So what should people do if they see something a bit unusual, like foamy pee after a workout?
Don't ignore it. Talk to your doctor.
Makes sense. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. And remember, even if you are diagnosed with a kidney condition, there are things you can do to manage it and live a full and healthy life.
Okay, that's reassuring. So it's not a life sentence.
Not at all. Early detection is key. And a healthy lifestyle can make a huge difference.
So it's a combination of being proactive and working closely with your doctor to come up with a plan.
Exactly. It's a partnership.
I like that. And just to reiterate, this whole deep dive was based on an excerpt from pasted text, right?
That's right.
But it's just a starting point. There's so much more to learn and explore.
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and stay curious about your health.
Great advice. Well, that brings us to the end of another deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration of proteinuria. We hope you learned something new and feel empowered to take charge of your health.
Until next time, stay curious and keep those kidneys happy.
You've been listening to the Learning Podcast, a production of metaNESTA. Remember, learning is a journey. One step, one insight, one skill at a time. We'll see you next time. Keep learning, stay curious, and as always, be awesome.